Welcome to the educational channel. This is Unit 6, Episode 26, Under Threat. In this episode, we will tackle vocabulary items and setbook questions. When answering setbook questions, here are a few tips that you should keep in mind. Make sure to read all the questions carefully. And remember, the questions are of general nature, so you can use your own information as well as the textbook information. Write full, meaningful sentences and provide at least 2 causes, reasons, or effects according to the question. Pay attention to handwriting and spelling and always revise your answers. Under threat. Now, what do I mean when I say under threat? What comes in your mind when I say under threat? You might think of things like animals in danger, plants in danger, human activities, or environmental instability. Now, threatened is a verb which means to endanger. Example, poachers threaten the lives of many wild animals. Look at this cute animal right here. This is a panda and it is threatened. Now, the panda is a reticent animal that lives a solitary life. However, it is facing many kinds of threats. Mention some. What do you think are pandas facing? What kinds of threats? When I say panda is a reticent animal, it means timid or easily frightened. For example, even the reticent students in the class started participating actively. And solitary means done or existing alone. Now, an example would be, a solitary house stood on the top of the cliff. It was alone there. Now, some of the threats that pandas are facing. Pandas are threatened and hunted for their skin, and this may lead to their extinction. What is extinction? Extinction is the state or process of a species being or becoming extinct. For example, nobody is sure what pushed dinosaurs to the point of extinction, but many think it was a large meteor. Another thing is natural enemies, like brown bears or leopards, pose a threat to pandas. When I say pose, means to present. For example, nuclear weapons pose a threat to everyone. Look at this question right here. How do pandas avoid threats that they may face? Avoid is to keep away from or stop from doing something. For example, he avoids places where people smoke as he suffers from asthma. Now, how do pandas stop these threats that they face? When they are aware of danger, they climb trees for a refuge. Aware means having knowledge or perception of a situation. For example, she wasn't aware of the dangers of burning waste. And refuge is a shelter, for example. After the wildfires, many people provided refuge for the surviving animals. Another thing is that their acute hearing helps them avoid enemies. Acute means a sense of hearing, taste, for example, that is very good, very sensitive. For example, dogs have an acute sense of smell. Now, what sacrifices would you be willing to make to protect an endangered species and why? What will you do to protect endangered animals or plants and why? Now, we can help raise awareness amongst people to protect them from extinction and encourage people in building expansive reservations for endangered species. Expansive means covering a wide area in terms of space or scope. For example, the house has an expansive view of the valley. And reservation is the action of reserving something, protecting something. For example, Kuwait has set up a permanent reservation in Al Jahra for many kinds of flora and fauna. The word permanent means lasting or intended to last or remain unchanged. Look at the picture. He used a permanent marker to label his boxes. It means it lasts, it doesn't go permanent. Should protection of endangered species be the concern of the government or charity organizations? What do you think? Is it the concern of the government or charity organizations? And support your opinion. As for me, and for many people I'm sure, I think it should be the concern for both, as the government can set laws and build reservations, while charities can protect these reservations, raise awareness, and collect donations for saving these animals. Let's look at this question. What is the importance of plants? Now, a plant has a stem. A stem is the long, thin part of a plant from which leaves, flowers, or fruit grow. Example, a rose usually has thorns on its stems, like the picture, it has thorns on the stem. Now, what is the importance of plants? Here are a few examples what we use plants for. First, nourishment. Then, we can use them for enriching the soil. Also, producing oxygen. We also use plants for medicine, and believe it or not, oils and perfumes, and also waxes and fuel. Now, what does nourishment mean? It means food or the valuable substances in the food, for example. These children are suffering because they lack proper nourishment. Let's take a look at this question. What is the importance of growing plants according to Islam? Grow means to become larger or greater over a period of time. For example, plants need productive soil, sun, water, and nurturing to flourish and grow. What is the importance of growing plants according to Islam? Any Muslim who cultivates a tree, which people can seek shade or shelter from the sun, will have his reward with Allah. Cultivates means to grow, raise, plant. For example, farmers cultivate larger areas of land with heavy use of machinery. And reward is a thing given in recognition of service, effort, or achievement. For example, volunteers never expect any reward for their effort. Another importance of growing plants according to Islam. Any Muslim who plants vegetation and eats from it or allows others to eat from it will receive a recompense from Allah. Recompense also means a reward or compensation. For example, he is asking for a just recompense for the work he's done. Keep in mind that the cutting down of trees for illegitimate reasons encroaches on the bounty of all and disturbs the beauty of the environment which Allah has created. Illegitimate means not authorized by law. For example, they were fired from their jobs for illegitimate reasons, such as violating confidential information. This is not legal. And encroach means to intrude on, for example. They will sue him because his new farm buildings encroach on their farmland. And bounty means an abundance or plenty. For example, pirates on the ship seized a bounty of jewels during their latest attack. Take a look at this question. What are the arguments for and against land reclamation? Or as I say, housings or building houses on wetlands. Housing means houses and apartments considered collectively, like a bunch of them. For example, last year, he was in charge of the new housing project in Khairan. And wetland is land consisting of marshes or swamps, such as the picture. For example, the largest freshwater wetland in the world is in Brazil. What are the arguments for and against land reclamation, like building on wetlands? For example, I can say people are for, and I can state why they are for, and against, and I can state why. Some reasons are, I'm sure you can think of other reasons, but some reasons are utilize land for cultivation. Utilize is to make practical and effective of use. For example, younger generations understand and utilize technology in a better way. Another thing is burgeoning population. Burgeoning means growing or expanding rapidly, very quickly. For example, thanks to the burgeoning of technology, online teaching became easier. Also, some people would be for land reclamation because there are enough reserves. Or they think that we should maintain the country's wealth. Wealth is an abundance of valuable possessions or money, for example. The only thing wealth does for some people is to make them worry about losing it. Another important thing, they think it's essential for human development. Other people are against land reclamation. The reasons are, first, it disrupts natural environment. Also, you lose the natural balance between man and animals or plants. Moreover, it increases pollution and it threatens species from animals and plants. Now, have you seen this plant before? Have you ever seen it probably in the desert, maybe? This is al-arfaj. Now, al-arfaj is a famous plant in Kuwait, and it is the national flower of Kuwait. Now, why is the arfaj chosen as the Kuwaiti national flower? What do you think? First of all, the arfaj has historical roots in the Kuwaiti culture. Also, it is a symbol of desert life as it's strong and it survives harsh weather conditions. Finally, it is a very famous flower in Kuwait. You will find it a lot in the desert. Let's take some more vocabulary words. We have consensus. It means a general agreement. For example, it took several hours for the jury to come to a consensus that he is innocent. An agreement. Damp, like the picture, slightly wet. My mother wiped off the dust using a damp cloth. Dearth means a scarcity or lack of something. For example, Kuwait has made a lot of contributions to help poor villages overcome the dearth of water. Fascinating. It means extremely interesting. For example, Kuwait is a vibrant and fascinating country. You should read about its history. Graduate. I'm pretty sure you know this word now. Is to successfully complete an academic degree, course of training, or high school. For example, my brother is studying very hard because he wants to graduate with distinction. Hibernate is when animals sleep during the winter. For example, snoozing deep inside the cave, the bear continued to hibernate all winter long. He slept all winter. Knock on is of a process in which everything that happens causes something else to happen. For example, the new projects in the city caused a knock-on boost to the economy. Timid, look at the picture. It means shy or lacks of courage or confidence. For example, the little child is very timid and shy when meeting strangers. Trespass on means to make unfair claims on or take advantage of something. For example, farmers have put up fences around their fields to prevent strangers from trespassing on their land. They don't want anyone going on their land. Unsanctioned means illegal or unofficial. For example, importing unsanctioned products to the country is strictly prohibited. Vociferously means enthusiastically or loudly. For example, they were arguing vociferously over who should pay the bill. Ready to practice the words? Here's a few examples where you can learn what the words mean and choose the best answer from A, B, C, or D. Let's look at number 1. The government held conferences and seminars to make people of the importance of respecting other cultures. Why do we hold conferences and seminars? And showing the importance of something. What can I say? Aware. They want to make people aware of. Number 2. The of the dinosaurs occurred millions of years ago. What happened to the dinosaurs millions of years ago? Of course, it's going to be extinction. They don't exist anymore. Number 3. I left the whole place to the loud noise. Why would you leave a place that has loud noise? You want to avoid the loud noise. In this episode, we discussed the new vocabulary items and used them in sentences. We answered the set book questions. Thank you for watching.